Hey everyone, this is Moreland, bringing you a guide to leveling up your contribution points in Black Desert Online. This video will show you all the best methods that I have found for getting my contribution to 262 and climbing. Some of these methods are going to be limited to players who are only level 50 or higher, so if you're under level 50, I recommend you start off by completing all the Black Spirit quests and all the story quests that have an exclamation mark as the icon. There are some pretty good quest hubs that you'll unlock by doing so. One of them is in the Glish area. There's a lot of quests at these smaller nodes around the area as well to kill Nagas or Fogans and other things like that. Down here at Bloody Monastery, you'll find a bunch of quests as well. Red Orcs has a lot, Karuto Cave, and Abandoned Land. All of these spots have really good quest hubs that you can level up your contribution before level 50 as you're progressing through those areas and getting your levels. Remember, the main thing is just do every quest that your Black Spirit gives you and try to do as much story quests as you can. Also remember that in your quest log you have these icons up here. If you have some of these turned off, those quests will be hidden. So for some of these routes, for example, you'll need to turn life skills on when we get to the alchemy and the gathering routes. So just keep an eye on that and make sure you have the appropriate quests turned on. So the first route I'm going to show you guys is at Rhutums Sentry Post, southwest of Calpheon, right here on the map. This is going to be a 50+ route. Talk to this NPC right here and get the Rhutum cleanup operation. I already accepted it, so we're just going to back out and hop on the horse. Once we accept that hourly quest, we're going to follow the road west towards a little mini quest hub that's got 4 daily quests to kill both Rhutums and Manshas, and each of those quests is going to be worth 200 contribution. So if we combine those with the hourly, we get 1,000 contribution here in about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how quickly you can kill. And then at the end of the route, I'll show you a way where we can get a bonus 200 contribution some of the time. So start off by taking these Mancha quests here. The Manchas are really easy to kill. You don't really need any special instructions. I'll show you generally where you need to go, but pretty much there's 2 types of Manchas you have to kill. There's the warriors and the javelin throwers. The javelin throwers are a little bit more rare, so if you're if you see the javelin throwers, then kill them. Try to focus on them a little bit. But all in all, you'll find both types of Manchas all over the place. You'll see these big groups. You can do this quest really quickly. Just come over here, drop as much AoE as you can. There's density everywhere. You can come down here, you can go over towards the mountains a little bit. It really doesn't matter where you go. Just get into the forest, find a good rhythm, blow up a bunch of Manchas that are grouped up, and within a few minutes you should be done, and you can come back here and turn the quests in. So get back to the break in the road, talk to these guys again to turn the quest in, and then once you're done with that, we're going to head over to Rhutums. So cross the bridge here on our way to Rhutums. The Rhutum route is going to be a little bit more complicated. There's several different objectives that we need to accomplish while we're killing these Rhutums, and so we need to make sure that we're doing this as efficiently as possible. If you want to kill some Rhutums on the road on the way up, like I just did, feel free to do so. It's not a big deal. Whenever you see any big groups of Rhutums, you will want to AoE them down, just because one of the objectives is quantity. But the first thing we want to focus on is killing these pillars and killing Rhutum Elite Archers. We're going to need to kill quite a bit of Rhutum Elite Archers by the time we're done, so always look for those. They have these large bows, they're taller than the regular archers, and they have the big red things on their head, so they're pretty easy to spot. Take those out, take these pillars out, and work your way towards that wooden platform that you can see in the right part of the screen. I'll show it again in a second. Keep focusing on those pillars. You will need to kill 5 of those. But yeah, mainly the Rhutum Elite Archers are the bottleneck here, so always kill those when you see them. Even if you focus on them, they're usually the last objective that gets completed. So take those out, and then come down to this wooden platform. You're going to find the Sculptures, which is the next objective. And you're also going to find Rhutum Elite Brawlers, these really big guys. They only spawn in a couple specific locations, and the wooden platforms are the best way to find them. You're going to find 1 Elite Brawler here, and then you're going to find 2 Elite Brawlers at the next spot that we go to. So there is a pretty good group here to just AoE. Like I said, whenever there's a big group, kill them so you can get the quantity. You can see way off in the distance, that's where we're headed next. It's actually not too far, it's like a 10-second walk. But that's where the other elite brawlers are. We're headed there, and on the way we want to keep killing Rhutum elite archers, and we also want to knock out the final objectives, which are rations and huts. So you can find rations and huts in between these two wooden platforms that we're going to be rotating back and forth from. So just kill the huts, kill the rations, AoE the groups, and as you do, you're going to slowly head across the road here. There's a lot of good density over here for the objectives as well as the elite archers. So, you know, take your time, go through here, finish as many of those objectives as you can. But ultimately, when you're done killing all the elite archers that you spot, you're going to want to start to head over to the right towards the second wooden platform. This is going to look just the same as the first wooden platform looked. It's going to have the sculptures on it, and this one's going to have an elite brawler at either end. So there's one right here, and there's going to be another elite brawler at the other end of the platform. So clear this place out. And then there's also going to be a pillar right over here. So if you haven't quite completed the pillar objective, there's an extra one right here that you can tag on your way to 5. But yeah, here's the other elite brawler. And from here on out, it's pretty much just going to be a rotation between these two locations. So this wooden platform has 2 of the brawlers, the other wooden platform has 1 brawler. You're going to be killing the elite archers and all the structures, going back and forth in between these two things. If you follow the route that I just explained, it should basically take you 2 laps between the wooden platforms to complete absolutely every objective. And the spawn rate on the elite brawlers, I think, is maybe like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. I haven't timed it, but you want to watch that spot right there for the elite brawler to come up, and then as soon as he does, just walk over there and kill him, and then rotate back to the other platform. So he should come up any second. Yep, there he is. So we come up, and we're going to go ahead and drop him. And that's all there is to it, guys. Just back and forth between the wooden platforms. Like I said, it'll take you 2 laps. So when I go back to the other wooden platform, that'll be the rest of the brawlers that I need. I should be done with huts and everything else by then. And the route should be pretty much done by the time you make that second lap. Now that we're done with the quest, we're going to return to Rhutums Sentry Post and talk to the node manager once again to turn in the Rhutum Hourly. Every time we turn in this hourly, we're going to get a Rhutum Amulet. And each time we get 2 Rhutum Amulets, we can do an exchange for even more contribution. You can also turn in your Rhutum Fangs here for a little bit of extra silver. But basically, every time you get 2 amulets, so every other day when you do this, you can do an exchange for another 200 contribution and for this belt over here. The belt is not good at all, even when you're starting out. Don't use the belt, there's better options. Just throw it away. By throwing it away, you'll allow yourself to keep doing the lowest version of this quest over and over again. So each time you throw the belt away, the quest basically resets, and you can just come back the next time you do this and do the 2 amulet turn in once again. So every other day, basically, you'll end up getting extra contribution. Alchemy dailies in Olvia are going to start at the southern part of the town with the stable master, Chiara Coop. She's going to give us the first quest from this route. All the quests in this route except for one, you can unlock just by hitting Apprentice 1 in Alchemist. So grab this quest, continue up the road, and look for the general goods vendor. He's going to give us the next alchemy quest. Got a little potion icon over his head. We'll talk to him. We'll take a slight left and continue up the road, and we want to look for a small set of stairs on our left. Once we go up the road, we turn left up these stairs and we talk to Wochester. He's going to give us a quest to make plywood hardener, which is actually a pretty useful ingredient that you might be making anyways if you're getting into alchemy. We go down the stairs and then down another set of stairs, and we're going to talk to Curtis, who's going to give us a quest for metal solvent, also a very useful ingredient. After Curtis, we go down stairs once more to the left, and we find another general goods vendor, pick up 2 more quests. We finish talking to her, and then turn around, go back towards Curtis, back towards the trade manager over here, and then turn left past the trade manager and talk to Julieta. This is going to be the last quest in the route. This quest you unlock by doing the beginner alchemy quests over in Glish. So if you haven't gotten started on alchemy yet, head over to Glish and talk to Selene, the general goods vendor, and that'll get you through those beginner levels of alchemy. There are more dailies over here. These guys have you make bloods and oils, but that's a bit more advanced. I wouldn't worry about that while you're just starting out. The storage vendor is right there. That's where you're going to keep all your ingredients. And then the house I like to use is right over here, very close to the storage. It's a really good spot. Once you get set up here with the house and the storage, this whole route takes less than 5 minutes and you get a really good chunk of contribution. The best storage I'd recommend getting is 4-1. It's 1 point for 5 slots, pretty good. I haven't found any other real good storage in Olvia. There's a couple 1-pointers for 3 slots, so, you know, pick those up. 2 or 3 points of contribution in storage should be all that you need. For my gathering route, I start in the upper left part of Olvia, in this grassy area where the milk quest is. If you're not interested in gathering, you should skip this part of the video and go to the next one. The reason why I did this route so many times is because the contribution is okay, it's not great, but the gathering experience is phenomenal. This is the best way that I know of to level your gathering skill. So grab that first milk quest and go down here to where all these cows are at. There's going to be another milk quest. You'll be able to finish both of these quests just by doing the cow minigame once. So go find yourself a cow. You beat this minigame just by holding down the left mouse button and then switching over to holding down the right mouse button. Go back and forth. You want to get the udders like 80% empty. Don't go too far or else the minigame will fail. But eventually, practice this a couple times and you'll get the rhythm for it. You should be able to finish the minigame with plenty of time left over. Go over here, turn the first milk quest in, and then go back to where we started to turn the second milk quest in. The rest of the gathering quests that we're going to pick up here in Olvia are going to be one of two things. Either they're going to be sap quests that we do because we need the sap to keep our alchemy stocked, and because they're pretty quick and all the trees are right here. So tree sap quest is the first thing that we're going to be picking up, and the second thing we're going to be picking up is dailies that we can stack with Velia gathering. I actually prefer Velia gathering to Olvia gathering, so the only Olvia gathering quests that I do other than those saps are ones that I can combo with Velia. So right there, that was a rough stone quest that we picked up. Now we're going to continue back to the southern part of town. We're going to get one more sap quest for fur sap. And then we're going to take a couple more gathering quests that we'll stack with Velia. So here's the first sap quest right here. The next area, or sorry, the next NPC that we talk to, he gives us a quest to get logs and to process them into usable scantling. So we'll get gathering and processing experience from this quest. It's a pretty good one. The last gathering quest that I take in Olvia is way up top here. There's another little quest that you can take for logs. Just a little bonus. We're going to be getting logs over in Velia anyway, so we might as well take it. There's also some timber quests for like fur and a couple other things. You can get more Olvia quests if you want. This is just the route that I take. It's nice and quick. We're going to go over to Velia next to these 4 farms, and that's going to be the final part of this route. We're going to start by going to Fento Farm first. When we arrive at Fento Farm, there's going to be 3 different versions of this gathering quest. You can only take one, so I always go with version number 3. It gives the most experience and the most contribution. This is going to take a while if your skill is low, but there are some things you can do to help. First, you've got the silver embroidered costume, which you can find on the marketplace for a couple 100k. There's also Balino specials. These are +2 gathering for 90 minutes. Very, very efficient. I recommend you use this even if you're strapped on cash. And then finally the worker elixir. That's a little more expensive. You can skip it if you want, but it does help. Your tool is the most important thing. I use the yellow tool, but when you're just starting out, you won't be able to. As soon as you get your gathering to beginner 10, then you'll unlock the blue tools. Those are almost as good as the yellow tools, so you'll be in pretty good shape at that point. But before then, you're just going to have to, you know, kind of gather slowly and skill up. Luckily, this route is very, very good gathering experience, and it should get you to beginner 10 faster than any other method that I know of. So as far as the weasels, I come north of the road to this little plain that you see here. There's some over on this little plateau. They're not very dense, but if you come over here and, you know, kill some weasels and stick with it, you'll get your blood sooner or later. So now I've left Finto Farm and I've come down here to Balanos Forest. It's going to be the exact same thing as last time. There's 3 different versions of the quest. This time we're going for pork. So any pig or boar that we butcher will get us the meat that we need for this quest. There are some pigs right outside the farm that you can go and harvest if you want. But I recommend, especially if your skill is low, you're going to want a pretty big population. So come over to the Forest of Seclusion node. I'll show that again. Basically, you want to come over to where this main pathway is. And then there's going to be a north-south road that you can see on the map, and then an east-west road that you can't quite see on the map. It's kind of right here. You want to find where those 2 roads meet, and just south of that crossroads, there are a ton of pigs in this entire area here. So if you come here, you'll see plenty of pigs, and you'll be able to get that pork pretty quick. So halfway done with Velia. The next quest that we're going to take is a tree chopping quest. Same thing, we take the 3rd version. This time we're at Bartelli Farm, so we just came from Balanos Forest right here. Bartelli Farm is just a little bit over to the west. This quest is probably the quickest out of all the Velia quests. I mean, as you can tell, trees are pretty easy to find around here. You just equip your axe and you go find one. You're looking for the basic logs, so any tree will do. It doesn't have to be any particular kind. And the nice thing about this particular quest is that you see the objective there. It doesn't say that it's out of 50. That's because it's actually completing the Olvia quest for 10 and the Olvia quest for 20 at the same time. So we're going to be able to go over to to Olvia and turn in those log quests by the time we finish doing this Velia log quest. It's going to be the same thing with the rough stones over at Logia Farm, which we're headed to next. Now at Logia Farm, we're going to have a quest to mine rough stone. This is definitely the slowest of all the Velia quests, so if you're just going for time efficiency, you might want to skip out on this one. I still do it every day just because I actually use rough stone for some pretty important ingredients. Metal solvent in particular uses rough stone, so I need as much as I can get, so I may as well do this quest. One thing that helps is having the cat pet. If you right click on your pet symbol and then go down to the cat, you can turn on the special cat ability, which is to locate a resource node. Sometimes the cat doesn't find the node until you're already on top of it, like just now. But basically, mining nodes are these little rocks that you just saw about that size. They all kind of look the same. Sometimes you get trolled, like that one. I thought it was a node, but it wasn't. This one over here is probably a little bit too big. This right here is the size that you want to look for. Looks like I got trolled there too. But yeah, it's about this size of rock is what you want to go for. This one's probably too big, and then the one after it is probably okay. So just keep trying to mine rocks that are about this size. Your super helpful cat is likely to highlight the rock that you're already mining a lot of the times. But, you know, every once in a while he'll find something useful. And it's good to have him around anyway, just because he's cool and hangs out on your shoulder. So yeah, use the cat pets if you want a little bit of help finding these nodes. But just be aware this is going to take longer than the other gathering quests. So try not to get too frustrated. When you're done, go back to Olvia and turn in the rough stone and the log quests, and then make sure that you process your logs into usable scantling to turn into this guy right here, and that'll get you some processing experience in addition to everything else. If you're over in Mediah, there's a farm route that you might be interested in seeing. Starts at Kasula Farm, goes up to Otto Farm, and finally up to Stonetail Horse Ranch. This is about a 10-minute route for 1,000 to 1,200 contribution. I'm going to start at the Tariff Bank and take 4 fruit juice, 9 silk honeygrass, and 15 log out of the bank. There's also, you can take 4 bottles with you as well if you want to do one of the quests. I forget to do it here because I usually skip that part. The silk honeygrass and the bottle portions cost a little bit of energy, and right now I'm pretty energy starved for crafting, so I just skip those. But if you want to, then, you know, take some bottles as well. We're going to start off by going over here to Casula Farm. All these quests are 100 contribution or more, and they're very quick and easy, so I really like doing this route whenever I'm over in Mediah. Start here and get a quest to kill bison, and then talk to this guy and get a quest to pick up a grain or a sack of grain. The sack of grain is right over here, so it takes 10 seconds. You just come over here and pick it up and then take it to the guy who's highlighted. You may have seen there's also a quest that he gives to kill groundhogs or hedgehogs, whatever they're called. You can do that one too if you want. I skip it just because it's a little buggy. It says to kill 10, but you usually have to end up killing like 20 or 30 before the quest finally finishes. So it'll only take you a few extra minutes, I guess, but I just skip it. It's a little too slow for me. After I drop off the sack of grain, I head out here to where the bison are. The bison are a little bit finicky. Not all of them count towards the quest, but you can tell which ones do because they'll highlight orange on your map and they'll say quest objective over their head, just like this one right here. So just look for the ones that actually say quest objective, and it'll be pretty quick. You'll only need to kill 3 of them. Don't make fun of my damage. Most of my accessories are on my other character when I was recording this part. But yeah, the bison are pretty easy, even if you're a fresh 50, as you can tell, even if you have bad gear. You shouldn't have any trouble killing these. And you only need to kill 3, and you'll be done. And then we can move on to the next farms, which are even better. So after you finish turning in at Casula Farm, head up the road northwest. We're going to stop at Otto Farm real quick on our way to Stonetail Horse Ranch. There's just one little quest that I do at Otto Farm. It's a catch the chicken on the roof quest. You get 100 contribution just for catching the chicken, so, you know, this is even better than the chimney sweeping quest. You just jump up here and find the chicken right there. You catch it, and then you jump back down. Real quick, real easy. Mainly we're just stopping here to do this on our way up to Stonetail Horse Ranch, where the main payout for this route is going to be. Right up here. At Stonetail Horse Ranch, sometimes I skip this NPC at the front because the 2 quests that she gives require energy. But they do pay out 100 contribution each, so if you don't mind spending a little bit of energy, then the first quest is going to be to feed silk honeygrass, 3 grass to 3 different horses, so you'll spend a total of 9 energy, and you'll need to make sure you bring a total of 9 silk honeygrass with you. You'll be able to see the horses up on your mini-map, so if you forget the horses that I'm showing you right now, don't worry about it too much. Once you accept this quest from the NPC, then it'll just pop up on your map, and you'll be able to find them that way. So we come over here, we spend the final 3 energy, and then once we turn in the quest, we're going to unlock a second quest that's going to cost 4 energy. The second quest is, I guess, to collect horse urine. Kind of strange, but that's Black Desert for you. You'll need to bring bottles with you if you want to do the second part. I haven't brought any bottles because, again, I haven't really been doing this part. I've been saving my energy for other things. But if you don't mind spending the energy, or if you're using an alt character, then bring bottles with you. And same thing, go over here, find one of the horses that's flagged as a quest objective, and just interact with it using the bottle. It was great out there because I don't have any bottles in my inventory, but it works exactly the same as the grass part of the quest. Next, come over and talk to this guy and pick up his 3 quests. The first one is going to be to turn in 15 logs, so be sure you bring some logs. I just keep a stockpile of logs in Tariff like you saw at the beginning to make this easier. And then the next 2 quests, one of them's a wheelbarrow quest and one of them is a cow quest. So we go down the road to fetch him a wheelbarrow. It's west of the ranch, just behind this rock over here. The wheelbarrow quest basically involves balancing this thing as you push it forward. If you see the cursor in the middle there start to tilt to the right, then you need to left click. If you see it tilt to the left, then you need to right click. So just counterbalance it with mouse clicks to keep that cursor close to the center as you can. If it goes too far from one side to the other, then the wheelbarrow falls over and you have to pick it up again. But it's pretty easy to get the hang of. Just keep that cursor right there in the middle. I think you guys can understand how that works, so I'm just going to move on without pushing it all the way up the hill. But yeah, just push it straight to that guy. Don't like go around the side, or else it'll take you more time. So the other quest was to milk a cow. We're going to come over here, and just like we did with the Olvia daily, you're going to hold down left and right click and just empty out the udders as much as you can. Don't empty them all the way, or else the quest will fail. Well, not the quest, but the minigame will fail, and you'll have to spend energy to do it again. I don't mind spending energy on this part because I actually use the milk for a lot of different things, but that's just my personal preference. Come back here and turn in the quests. And now we're going to go up and talk to a couple more NPCs. As you can see, this is a pretty dense hub for fast daily quests. The first quest we get from this guy is to suppress a drunk, and the second one is for 4 fruit juice. So I've already brought the fruit juice with me. I'm going to turn that in. And I like to pick the squid there because it's classified as seafood. So just a kind of a little bonus there. Finally, we're going to talk to this guy, and he's going to tell us to go catch a raccoon. The raccoon is right over here on the hill. So we go back, turn in the raccoon, and then the racetrack quest that we got from Fruit Juice guy is going to be completed up here. You just walk up the hill towards the racetrack and then veer off to the left. He's pretty easy to find. He's the guy that has racetrack or quest objective over his head. So just come over here and activate the drunk to complete the quest. And instead of going back to the ranch to turn this in, we're actually just going to turn it in right here at the front of the racetrack. So we'll talk to this guy and turn it in. And that pretty much sums up my regular Mediah route. There's a few more spots you can visit if you want. Up in Kusha, there's a few dailies that you can do. I haven't found that it's really worth my time to ride up there and do them, but they are there if you want. And then in Altanova, I actually like these. I'm in Altanova a lot anyways. Misha, you can give 10 silver azalea. The guy over here, you can process white cedar. And then in the middle of town, you can do a fertilizer quest. You can process some fertilizer for a guy near the storage. And then the marketplace director, I believe you can dry some hide and turn those into her. If you're drying the hide anyway, then you might as well turn these quests in. Let's talk about general Mediah questing, because I think this is something that's somewhat undervalued when it comes to getting contribution. Starting in Tariff and Altanova, there are a ton of quest chains that will take you all over the continent, and all of these quest chains are very worth doing. Some of these, like the ones in Altanova, you just go around talking to people and you get like 1,000 contribution in 10 minutes just from talking to random NPCs. So don't assume that dailies are the only way to get contribution. General questing is a great way to do it as well, especially in Mediah. Additionally, as soon as you get over to Mediah, your Black Spirit is going to start giving you daily kill quests that pay out 200 contribution, skill experience, and hunter seals. There's 4 different versions of the quest that you can get. Looks like this time I got Helms and Wandering Rogues. But there's a couple other ones that you can get as well. You can get the Abandoned Iron Mine, you can get the Rogues that we just saw, you can get Mains, or you can get Helms, which we also just saw. If you get either the Mains right here, or the Rogues, then you can also stack an additional daily in Tariff. Come over to the middle of Tariff where this painting is, and in this case, since I got Rogues, I'm going to take the Rogue quest from her as well. And now when I look over at the Rogue area, there's 2 different quest icons. It's all the same. When I kill Rogues, I'm going to complete both of these quests. So make sure to pick up the quest from the painting to stack with your regular kill quests. There's one other method that's worth mentioning. I don't actually use this route, so I'm not going to show it here. But if you're interested, you should look up Calpheon daily route on Google or YouTube or whatever. And there's a couple really good videos that people have put together that will show you how to go through the city of Calpheon and get the most contribution in the quickest way possible. I believe the full route is something like 15 to 18 minutes long, but it does have a pretty good payout. It'll probably take you a little bit of time to memorize it, but once you have it down, it's very, very efficient, and a lot of people like doing it for contribution. I personally never added it to my routine just because I had enough routes that I was doing on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, I didn't want to spend too much time doing dailies since there's other stuff to do in the game as well. Crafting, grinding, the never-ending progression of Black Desert Online. You guys know how it is. But if you are looking for some additional quests to do to increase your contribution, then the Calpheon daily route is definitely worth looking into. Just search for the videos and find a route that you like. But that pretty much sums up my methods. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below or just stop by the Twitch channel and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.